Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Team Call. I'm Jamie Haskin and excited to talk to you guys tonight. We are going to dive into what is going on for this month a little bit. I'm not going to go into a million specifics there because there's other calls that you can check out for that, but I want to go into specifics on how to capitalize on this, how to work this in your business, and how this is not just particular to this month, but it's really applicable for the long game with this business and the bigger picture. So it's going to be applicable for you and for your people. I encourage you to have something to write down. I did not make a slideshow, but I do have several questions I will be rattling off on occasion. So if you want to write any of them down or take some notes, you absolutely can, or obviously you can check the replay. But first of all, we have, particularly in this month. Now, the rest of this call is going to be applicable to any time you're working your business, but I will start off specifically on this month. We have some big incentives going on, obviously, with not only the Apple Watch when you get 6 joins, but the maintain and re-rank bonus. And we are halfway through the convention contest. Is everybody still tracking convention contest? Know that in your virtual office, you can see where you are in that. You just need to switch it over to the new virtual office. So make sure you are paying attention and tracking and going for big goals there as well, because I have fallen short of goals before because I underestimated myself or because I didn't really pay attention. So don't do that. But with the goals this month, everyone can do this. Everyone can get 6 joins and get this Apple Watch. I know because I've seen it happen time and time again. We've had a March big incentive like this for a few years now, and people come out of the woodwork for this. People who maybe have only gotten a join, like 1 or 2 joins a month in the past, have gotten 6, or people who have struggled to get joins, or people who stopped working and they come back. It doesn't matter what your track history is. You can set big goals and you can earn big things. Now, same thing with, well, I'm going to actually jump to this right now because I just want to say this. So, I remember when we first had, it was an iPad, 6 joins for an iPad. I remember Fallon saying, bigger picture here though, you guys, right? So we are working and getting, these 6 joins for this awesome prize. And I don't know what it is about this immediate gratification that matters, but it does. And people get excited about that, which is great. It is amazing. And maybe you can't afford to buy yourself an Apple Watch right now, or you just wouldn't choose to. And this would be an awesome incentive and prize for that. But big picture is when you hit diamond. I remember Fallon saying this about the iPad one year, you can buy yourself as many Apple Watches if you want to, right? So big picture is you are working your business for diamond. You're working your business and you're creating these habits and working towards goals and pushing yourself because you are working for a bigger vision than just an Apple Watch this month. But it does not take away that that's amazing, that you can earn it and you can help other people earn it. Maintain and re-rank bonus, I think, is incredible because this is basing off of last month, right? Where you were at in February. And if you maintain that achieved rank or exceed it, you are going to get that rank bonus again. That is a big deal. Now, imagine with me, if you will, if everybody worked to maintain their rank each and every month, always, or worked towards the point growth. Meaning that if you are getting to the end of a month and you are only 6 points away or 9 points away from hitting gold again, right? You fell back just a little bit, but you're 9 points away from hitting gold again, or senior gold, or senior silver, or whatever it is. And you closed that gap and worked hard on that last day to get that 1 more join or 2 more joins just to maintain that rank. Imagine where you would be if that compounded, right? If you worked that little bit extra to compound. Imagine if everyone on your team did that and they were all maintaining and working beyond. Imagine if they had a goal for 3 joins and they got 2, and at the end of that month and the last day, they still pushed for that 1 more join just because they wanted to follow through on their goal. Where would you be if we all closed that little gap, right? Well, this month, we get rewarded for that. We get this instant gratification. We get this extra bonus for doing that, which is incredible. Again, it's amazing. But I want to encourage you to leverage this month to think big picture for the future. And so when next month happens and the following month, and maybe you don't have this carrot dangling in front of you, but you have a bigger vision for Diamond, for your big goals. So you are going to continue to close that gap. You're going to continue work your business in the same way to keep moving forward. Does that make sense? So this is a big deal. It's awesome, but use this to create good habits for moving forward too. All right, after you get your 6 and after this big month, I'm going to quick mention this too, and then we're going to move on. A lot of times we get our people in, and I want to encourage you as you go for this big goal for yourself. I want you guys to set a goal for yourself. I'm sure you already have, right? You've already hopefully declared what you want, that you want to go for that this month. But I want to encourage you to keep your standard for enrolling people and for follow-up. Keep that standard as you always do. So I mean, don't get desperate for the sign up to reach the school where you begin to use desperate language like, oh, just try it for 1 month. Or, you know, like you kind of get desperate with people of just trying to convince them to do whatever you can do to get that one join. And that's, you know, the win, right? Or don't get desperate with the sale, right? In terms of offering even more money and kickback and whatever it is. You depreciate the value in our products when we get desperate with our language or our offerings, right? So the value in our products have not changed, right? We need to keep that at the forefront. And when we shift that, the problem with that is we don't want it to affect our retention. We don't want people to come in because we were desperate. We devalued our products. We wanted to try and have them try it for a month, and now they're falling off next month. And now we have point decrease, right? So we are still signing people up the best way we know how, the same way, with the right expectations, with the right standards we're setting for future follow-up, talking to them, helping them get their victories, all the things. So it does not change anything. And I know that might be a duh thing, but it happens, right? It can happen. So just make sure you are holding that standard, holding that value high, and you are just talking to people after they join. You're talking and helping them get their wins, right? And as always, can you imagine? I want you guys to think about every person who comes in. When you have these 6 people come in, I want you to think about who is going to start with them, right? If they join for this, so can 6 of their friends, right? So that means they can go silver. They can get an Apple Watch. Every person who comes in this month. So the only way they can do that is if you are talking about it and you're opening your mouth and you're offering the kickback, the incentive, the bigger picture with this business, whatever that may be. And when every join comes in with a possible 6 joins, you have that in your mind. Okay, who's their 6? And you're thinking about that with every join that comes in. Imagine and see how that compounds, how that grows your business, how that multiplies, right? But you have to be talking about it. All right, so let's get specific with this month. I want to talk about setting goals. Many of you guys have heard this, you've talked about it, you are doing it, but we're going to talk about it and we're going to get specific. And I want you to think about yourself first here, and then we're going to talk about your team later. But when you are setting your goals, you may have heard the acronym SMART goals before. So we're going to get very specific, and I'm going to break down SMART goals for you just really quick. The S is specific, M is measurable, A is achievable, R is relevant, and T is time-based. So specific, SMART goals. Specific is, what do I want to achieve? You need to be precise. So is that the 6 joins? Is it point growth? Is it a rank? Is it a re-rank? Is it X amount of silvers, X amount of people earning the Apple Watch that you want to help earn the Apple Watch, having new business builders, whatever it is, you need to get very specific on what you want to achieve. You want it to be measurable. That's M. So how will you track your progress? Can you track it? Achievable. Is it realistic? Do I have what I need to make it possible? is this goal achievable within my scheduled time? So not only the time frame maybe for the month, if you're setting a monthly goal, but maybe the time frame that you're willing to give. So is it achievable based on the resources you have? I'm going to tell you, yes, you have the resources, you have the training, you have the support, right? You're in this team page, you're on this call. So do you have what you need to make it for it to be possible? Is it achievable within the time that you are allotting for it? Is it relevant? R is relevant. Why am I doing this? Does it match up with my bigger vision, my purpose, my why, right? Time-based. When do you want to achieve it by? So you can do this with any goal. You can literally answer these questions and do this. And I encourage you, I'm telling you to do this, please, as part of your homework for this month. Set your goal out, write it down, write down each part for the SMART goal and commit to that. When you write it down, when you say it out loud and commit, it changes how you, like your attachment to that, your commitment to it, that you are going to follow through, that it is science, there is a statistic, there is a percentage, I do not remember, but it is true. So write it down. So that is one of your homework pieces. Action steps. So I want to talk about applying this SMART goal, SMART plan, if you will, to action steps as well. Because when you set a goal, in my mind, it honestly doesn't matter unless you have action to follow through with it. And so many times we can, I think sometimes we don't even set goals for ourselves. We just work and we just see what happens, right? Or we set a goal kind of aloofly and just see what happens, right? But if you want to be serious about it, if you really want to be hungry about it, you need to set action steps to match the goal so that you know that what you plan to do on a daily basis is going to get you to where you want to go at the end of that month in terms of reaching your goal. So I was kind of looking at that in terms of just this SMART acronym along with action steps and asking questions that came to mind with that and thinking of SMART again, specific, right? So with your action steps, what am I going to do daily to achieve my goal? And get specific. How many days of the week? How much time? Do you need a time block? What does that look like? Measurable. How will I track my work? So you could record your activity on a monthly calendar. You could print off a blank monthly calendar and track your work and actually write down what you are doing. You can use a timer to track it in terms of like your allotted time. Achievable. Is it realistic to reach my goal based on the activity set and the time that I'm giving myself to work? So based on what I've done in previous months, I'm going to touch base on this later too. Did I reach the goals I set? Or what can I adjust to, from last time to help set myself up for success, right? So the whole achievable thing in terms of, does my activity match up with my goal? And then R for SMART, relevant. Will the action steps I set help me reach my goal this month? Will it contribute to my long-term vision and habits for success? And then time-based, when will I execute these action steps and for how long? So again, narrowing down, okay, these are my action steps, but when am I actually going to execute these? How long? Are you setting this up for a month? And then again, you can apply that to long-term vision of if you continue that or adjust it. Okay, so I think tracking is a very, very important part that I see that can be very helpful for people, especially when I just coaching people at different various times and things that I see. A lot of times I hear, and let me know if you've thought this, said this, but say something like, I feel like I'm doing everything and I'm still not where I want to be. Or I feel like I'm doing it all, but I didn't hit my goal again. And a lot of times, we've all been there. I've heard it. I'm sure you've thought that or heard it, right? It's okay. But a lot of times it's not this like elusive thing that we just can't figure out and we'll never figure out, and just keep doing what you're doing and it'll eventually happen, right? We can get a lot more intentional than that. So one thing that I really love to encourage is tracking, because if we can actually track and think about One, what are we doing well? What area do you need to work on? What action are you going to do to reach your goal? So you have this follow-up, right? I did not explain that well, but you have these questions that you can kind of ask yourself and go through. What are you doing well? What area do you need to work on? What action are you doing to reach your goal? And then actually track that action. So again, going back to just having a calendar and tracking what business building activities are you doing each day? How many posts did you do? How many reach outs? How many follow-ups? Any conversations on the phone? Any conversations with your business builders? Any type of activity. And you can write that down for each day and track that for a whole calendar month. And I think it is so easy for us to lie to ourselves when it comes to our work, because it's easy to get scrolling or answering a lot of messages or thinking of what you need to do. Anybody been there? I've been there, thinking of all the things that you got to do and getting constantly sidetracked and feeling like you're working all day long. But if you actually tracked it or looked, you didn't get as much done as you thought you should do. Or maybe you missed the very important things like your own personal business and did all the other things and maybe avoided the things that you needed to actually do, right? But if we don't track that, sometimes we don't realize how much we are doing that and how much maybe we aren't. But what you can do is write it down, right? And when you write those things down and can look back on them, you gift yourself awareness. Awareness is extremely important, because with that, you can actually evaluate what is going well, what you are doing well, and where there are gaps or areas of growth, right? Awareness gives you power. It opens the door for massive growth. You need to have the awareness in order to fix something or to improve in an area that you're, maybe not even aware that you need to work on or improve in the first place, right? So you can't stay in the dark and just keep, at the end of the day, we're just going to keep pedaling, right? And we want to make progress. So the awareness is key. Sometimes I know tracking can seem too basic, so don't tune me out, please. But I think that can also be fear or pride or stubbornness that can stop us from doing this step. So don't let that be a reason that you don't do something like this. So my challenge for you guys, number 2 thing to do, is to track your activity for 3 months. It's a long time. You need to have bigger vision than the immediate to do this, but 3 months, track what you do personally in your business and see if you can hold up to that challenge. And be honest with yourself. It doesn't work if you cheat and lie to yourself. Be honest, and then use that awareness and that knowledge to see what you're doing well, where you can see the gaps or areas of growth, and leverage it to grow your business. All right, so evaluating is another important key thing, and taking the time to basically reflect on what you're doing well and the areas of improvement. So moving more into this, something that you can do each month in that is look at the beginning of every month. You can look at the previous month, and some questions you can ask are, what did I follow through on? Where did I fall short? What did I learn? And what did I grow through? And the learn and grow through part is very important too, and I'll talk more about that later. Beginning of the month. So that's what you're reflecting on from last month. Now you can look at the goal setting that we talked about, and you can ask questions like, do my daily habits align with what's required to reach the goals that I'm setting for myself and for my team? Is there anything that, sorry, it's loud and it's even on vibrate. Okay. Is there anything I can adjust, take away, or add that will set myself up better to reach my goals for my long-term vision and where I want to go? And then mid-month, you can always reevaluate again. So at this point, you set yourself up, you set your goals, you've asked the questions, you've taken the time to slow down and reflect, which can be really hard for some people more than others, certainly me. And then mid-month, you can reevaluate and ask yourself, you're checking on your goals, you're looking at how it's going. How am I tracking with my progress? Am I tracking? How am I doing? Am I far, halfway, or close to my goal? Are my action steps still aligned with reaching my goal? And then how have I done with tracking and following through with my action? So take the time to be intentional in these areas as you go through the month. And then after you're doing that with yourself, you get to also do that with your people. So as you have business builders and your business builders have business builders, this is where the duplication is super important. So I'm not going to go through this all again in detail, but essentially it's the same thing, right? You help people do what you are doing yourself. And the important thing is to cast really big belief and vision in the beginning. So they actually know what's possible. They know that you believe that they can do this, that they can reach their goals, that they can do big things, they can do scary things, they can move forward in this business. So always make sure you are repeatedly casting vision and belief and being excited with them each month and throughout the month. But helping them do this is asking them what their goal is, right? Not just telling them, but asking them. And I think it's extremely important to, at that point, you have the choice as a leader to either validate their goal. If it's a great goal, which is awesome, right? Validate their goal and encourage them and say, yes, you can do this. Or maybe they're selling themselves a little short. Maybe you think they can do more than the belief that they have in themselves, and you get to raise them a little bit higher. You get to maybe paint a little bit bigger picture and say, that is really great. I know you can get those 3 joins, but this month, I really think you can go for the 6. I really think you can, do a little bit more and get this Apple Watch. And then ask and try and help them move forward. If they're willing to commit to that, then you can help them. Let's talk about the action steps and how you can make this happen. Of course, go over those action steps, evaluate with them mid-month, and evaluate based on their previous track record, right? So if they're setting the same goals month after month, which is totally great and fine if it's a good goal, but they're consistently not reaching the goal, it's probably a good time to dive in and ask more questions based on whether or not they're being consistent in their action. What is their actions? What are their action steps for the month? What are they committing to in terms of time and activity? Is it enough? What do they think they need to change in order to reach a goal? Hey, I know you've set this goal before and it is fantastic. I totally believe you can do it. You didn't reach it last month or the month prior. What do you think that you need to adjust or shift? Do you, have you followed through? Were you consistent? Is there any action steps we need to adjust so that you can hit it this month? Where do you see the gaps? What do you see you're doing well? Where do you see you need for areas of improvement? Ask them. They likely know, and they can likely tell you, but of course you can also have eyes on their business and give them suggestions as well. And then hold them accountable, of course. And make sure you tell them who you see that they are, right? In terms of kind of holding them to a high standard, in terms of setting high expectations, that you see them as someone who follows through on something that, okay, you set this goal now, and you're going to follow through because I know like how much you care, and just hold them to a high standard of what you see in them, like build that belief in them, right? It goes a long way. I know it does when people build that belief in me. And then finally, have those high expectations and set the standards for yourself in this business. So when you guys do set your goals, you need to set the bar high for yourself in terms of the follow through. You're a person who follows through on your commitments, right? You have the high standards for yourself. You don't give up. You don't stop just because you missed a day, right? You don't stop because you don't think you're going to reach your goal midway through the month. You don't even try and track your action because you say, well, I'm never consistent at anything anyway. So you don't even start. You don't even give yourself a chance, right? Don't be that person. Set your standards of where you want that to be. Don't give up on yourself before you even start. Your past habits have nothing to do with your future habits if you don't want them to, right? So who do you want to be? You get to choose. Choose it now. Write it down. That's a third thing I want you to do. You could even do it right now. Write it down. Who do you want to be? What is the expectations, the standards, the character of who you want to be, and show up as that each day as that person, right? And it doesn't mean you're never going to make mistakes, because I promise you will. It doesn't mean you're never going to fail. You will, right? It's just part of the process. You're going to have challenges. We all do, right? It just begs to ask, who are you going to be when that happens? So take the time to write that down and to be that person as you work your business. Expect to win, expect to reach your goals, plan to succeed. But when you plan to succeed, you also need to prepare to face challenges, because it happens. It's going to happen to all of us. It's not if, it's when, right? It's okay that there are challenges. Ask yourself, what are the challenges to overcome? When you set your goals, when you go for the big things you're going to go for, what are the challenges you're going to have to overcome? Have you thought about that before? What resources and skills are needed? Think about that ahead of time. What is the character of someone who works through a challenge, even when it's uncertain or fearful? Is that your character? Choose to believe it will happen. And think forward for a minute. I want you to close your eyes even if you want to. Think forward to, we're in March, think forward to April 1. You've set this big goal. You set the goal for an Apple Watch, for maybe a re-rank. Maybe it's a new time, first time rank. Maybe it's a point growth. Maybe you have a new business builder. Maybe you've developed silvers, helped other people get the Apple Watch, whatever it is, your goals that you've set or are setting for this month. Fast forward to April 1, you've hit these goals and you're thinking and looking back on March. How did you show up each day to hit those goals? What did you do? How did you think? What did you believe? What did you choose to do when life got busy and stressful this month? What hard did you have to work through? How do you feel now that you've achieved it? To work through the hard, right? It feels good when you worked through something that's difficult and you stuck through it, right? So think about these things. And because those things that it takes to get through this month, it is worth it. Is it worth it? It's worth it. I'm going to say it's worth it, right? So imagine, believe, and have that vision for as you move forward in your business. I want you guys to celebrate and follow through. Let me start over. To celebrate the follow through and the wins. So breaking news, success is not hitting every goal. So I know we're talking about goal setting, and I know maybe for some people, you're like, I don't like setting goals. I'm sick of not hitting my goals, or it scares me to set a goal because what if I fail, right? So one, you can do things afraid. You can still move forward and do things afraid and work your business in this way. But two, we need to rewire our brain for what success means then, because success is not hitting every goal. You don't learn when you win. You learn and you grow when you fail, when you fall short. So success is not just the hitting that goal. Success is the process. Success is the whole journey through it, right? So don't wait until the end of the month and you hit the goal, or don't on some occasions, right? Don't wait to the end of the month goal to recognize the great things that are happening in your business and to celebrate the wins. You're on your diamond journey now. It's not when you hit emerald, it's not when you get more business builders, it's not when you hit that next rank or re-rank that it like suddenly starts to happen, right? You're on your diamond journey now. Your journey matters, right? The highs, the lows, the victories, the hurdles, the failures, because it's shaping the leader that you are. It's shaping your character. It's who you step into. Or it's what you shy away from, hold yourself back from, hide from, right? You get to choose. So I say, choose to step forward. Choose to celebrate even when it's hard. Look for the things to be grateful for every day, not just the good days. and choose to take action and know that it will lead to hitting your goals and helping others do the same, and ultimately where you want to go and where you want to bring other people. All right. Love y'all. Have a fantastic month. Knock March out of the park. And beyond that, I want to see this be just propelling forward for your goals, for future ranks, for Diamond, for all the things. So excited for all of you, and let's have a great month together. Thank you much.